In this video we're going to be looking over this Nikon N8008s 35mm film SLR camera body, and my goal here is to check this out on video here about the way that you would want to see if you had it in your own hands. So in order to do that, I'm going to load some batteries. These are not included, and also a scrap roll of film. So let's start by inspecting the battery compartment. We'll just open this little screw, and the battery holder will pop out. And first let's inspect this. It looks nice and clean. I don't see any battery leakage on any of the contacts. That's really good. And down inside looks really nice and clean also. So we will load the batteries into the holder, and this one goes that way, this one that way, this one that way, and this one that way. So now we can slide these back in, turn the little screw, finish the last turn or two with a penny. Doesn't have to be real tight, just so that it's secured. Now if we look on here at the top, it was actually on already. I'm going to turn it off and we'll turn it on, and we'll just see, and we can see that the shutter is operating. And so what I'm going to do here now is just open up the back, and we'll look in there. This one has a nice latch where you push two things together and it pops the back open. So while we have this open, let's look here. Everything looks pretty nice here and over here on the door. And this is designed so there's not much need for foam light seals. I see a little bit in there, and it probably is okay. But everything fits so nicely that you really don't need much foam on here. Here's a scrap roll of film. Let's just put that in here, and we're going to extend the tail into the take-up area and get that on the sprocket there, and close the door. Okay, and it advanced up to number 1. So now let's fire that off. Okay, now it's at picture number 2. There are a few things that you can change here, and we can see how we can do that. Mode, program, shutter, aperture, manual, and all these different things. And let's see, what is this? ISO. You can change that all the way up to 6400. Okay, so, and then here's the little self-timer button, and that was set for 2 seconds. Let's see, let's set that for 10 seconds. Okay, and then we see the little light shining, or going right here, blinking, so we'll wait for it to complete. So that's working. Manual exposure, or multiple exposure, and it has reached the end of that short little roll here. Now to rewind on this camera, you have to press these 2 buttons at the same time, and there, now we see it's rewinding the film back into the housing, and now it's saying it's safe to open the door. We'll pop that open again, and there it is. You can see it also has the contacts for reading the ASA or ISO value off of the cartridge itself when you drop it in. Now I can adjust the shutter speed, and I verified that it works at all of these different ones. If I go to mode here and go to shutter, there's that 1/1000th of a second, had been able to adjust that. Two-thousandths. It's kind of an automatic here, it looks like. It says at 60th, 15th, 30th. So the metering is coming into this. What I need to do is set it on manual. I did verify with the lens on here that I could shoot, and the autofocus worked and everything. This one has the autofocus drive right here. But now with it in manual, I can just set it here for 1/8,000th of a second. And then I can just set this to whatever I want. If I wanted it at 1/25th. If I want this down at 1/4 of a second, where it shows the 4 there. If I want it at a full second, it works well. And it'll actually go all the way to 30 seconds. Let's just do one for 4 seconds, and that's a long time when you're just watching it and waiting. You can see back through to the pressure plate. So, in general, the camera seems to be working very well, and I'm going to uninstall those batteries since those do not come with it. But the camera comes with this Nikon strap, and it'll have this protective cover on the front. I think this might be a repro, but it fits on the front here. We'll take these batteries out. And put the battery holder back in. And it has a nice yellow writing on black strap here. It's a nice example of the Nikon 8008s 35mm film SLR camera body.